Welcome back to Newsday. Thank you for staying with us. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has repeatedly condemned a criminal case against him that alleges he kept hundreds of classified files after he left office. He spoke at a campaign rally in New Hampshire after an audio recording emerged contradicting his claims. In his first remarks since the audio was released to the media, he lashed out at the Justice Department's investigation.
But the most important step in truly draining the swamp is to end the weaponization of the Justice Department and the abuse of law enforcement to stop political dissent. As you know, 2 weeks ago, crooked Joe Biden ordered his top political opponent arrested. Oh, who is that opponent? Oh, it's me. Oh, fool. Right in the middle of a presidential campaign that his opponent is winning by a lot. Think of this one. This wasn't in the book. This wasn't in the playbook. But because the public is really smart, my numbers went up. This is why they suffer from a thing called Trump derangement syndrome. Have you ever heard of that? I have, unfortunately. I've heard a lot about it. But they do suffer from that. It's a very, very rare but very potent sickness. These are sick people. I don't put Washington, D.C. first like they do. I put America first every single time. I put America first. This election will be the end of the world for the corrupt political class in our nation's capital. And I now know them. You know, I had experience like nobody has had experience.
Former President Trump. Now, Arise U.S. correspondent Rotimi Kade joins us now for more on this. Good to have you, Rotimi. How damaging is this audio leaking for President Trump as he fights charges that he kept hundreds of classified documents after he left the White House? I heard the audio and it's quite revealing. What do you make of it?
Well, I can tell you that, well, that audio is not just quite damaging, but of course, further, damages image as, former president who is willing to come back in 2024. But of course, this is one of the many audios, the plethora of leaked audios since he left office in 2020 that we've seen so far. And President Trump has continually denied, that allegation that he did absolutely nothing wrong. I think that's one of his form of deflection, when it comes to accountability. And what we've seen so far is the fact that the president tries to explain himself on social media and all the podium or opportunities he sees himself to actually tell his supporters most importantly. But however, going forward, I think this is definitely going to put a big wedge on his personalities and also whatever ways that he tries to, stave this off his records. Don't forget that he's still battling with allegations of rape by John Carroll, and it has so many of this, going on for him, and I really don't know whether I have the thick skin to actually scale through as we are now in the pre-election season.
President Donald Trump is insisting that he did nothing wrong. But let's talk about how this impacts his bid to win the Republican nomination.
Well, talking about the Republican nomination, on the contrary, I think rather than, what was sort of expected as a result of all these expose going front and center in the news, you would have expected that President Trump, former President Trump, would definitely have his polls, plunge significantly. But what we've seen so far is that it has actually, gone the other way around. It's gone north. It is now more popular. His polls within the Republican Party has skyrocketed in the past few weeks. It's more like the more you're trying to bring him down, the more it's getting stronger. His closest rival, Governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, his poll numbers are also depreciating. I think the last aggregate polls that I was privileged to see was President Trump at 50 points, Ron DeSantis 22 points. which makes him even more confident. And every time he had the opportunity to talk about his closest rival, he'll always say that he's not fit to be president. He's a better fit. And you would definitely think that, this is, the end of Donald Trump. But as, many analysts actually said that Donald Trump might just be the cat with nine lives. But nationally, against President Biden, I think it's not doing well. It's still trailing by about 2 points. And while other candidates are doing fairly well with the president side by side. So the Republican parties may just have to have a rethink whether to present him again in 2024, because I think we could see a repeat of what happened in 2020.
Indeed, Rotimi. Now, turning to air quality alerts in the U.S., how bad are things in cities like Chicago? Smoke from Canada's wildfires drift across, and we're even hearing it's going towards parts of Europe as well.
Well, air quality have gradually diminished in terms of what we used to before. But I mean, this, especially in Chicago and the Quad Cities, and also trickling down to the tri-state area of New York, New Jersey, and of course, Connecticut. We've seen, this a resurgence, so to speak, of what we saw about a few weeks ago of, the whole sky being, taken over by plumes of smokes. And, right now, health experts are actually calling on people to actually, move shelter in place because the air quality might be damaging, to our health, especially the lungs and, and other organs of our body. But right now, this is the worst firestorm that we've seen since the last 30 years, since 1989. And it's now gradually moving to Europe across the Atlantic. And this is one of the things that the Biden administration and some other health experts are really clamoring for a revisit of the climate change charter. They want all the countries to actually buy into it, because scientists are saying essentially that this could be as a result of the high temperatures, which is caused by climate change.
Rotimi, just before you go, what are the people who are affected by these, the fires, the air quality? What are they saying? Is the government doing enough, to ensure, people are protected against this air quality?
Well, I think there's been a health emergency alert that has been going on, especially in the state of New York. The governor of New York, Governor Hochul, actually released a statement telling people that we have all the health officials on standby, should in case, and the hospital has also been put on alert, should in case you have an emergency of some sort. So we won't see what happened during 2020 coronavirus, where the hospitals couldn't contain the number of emergencies that they have. But of course, right now, I think everything is being put in place. I think, again, they always tell people to actually listen to the advisories from states, federal, and local officials so that you don't fall victims of that. But I could tell you that this is really not going to be a sort of a major health crisis as we see in the coronavirus era. I think they've learned so many lessons from that, and they are making sure that they put all the precautions necessary in place. I can bet you that even if there's going to be casualties, it's going to be very minimal.
Thank you so much, Arise correspondent Rotimi Kade, for being here with us on Newsday.